A lot going on. Good evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jamey Singleton. Thanks for tuning me in on Facebook tonight. I see 56 of you on Star News, 29 on Responding Fire. I've got 33 on my meteorologist page, and 45 folks on my personal Facebook page. Got a few folks on the B99 page as well. We all need to watch this tonight. We've got several clusters of storms that are moving through the area. You're looking at the lightning right now, and it's lit up here. This is the actual satellite picking this lightning up across West Virginia. Lots of lightning and a few damage reports coming in from the lightning as well. This is the Lynchburg area. They've been hit very hard with over 5 inches of rain already in just a couple of hours. I think they've got about a little over 5 there at Channel 13. That's right over at Lynchburg where I used to work. And a lot of roads are flooded in and around Fort Avenue in Lynchburg. And we've also got some wind damage throughout the city of Lynchburg and the Bedford County tonight. Let's take you to the radar real quick, and I'm going to show you kind of what's going on from a broader standpoint here. Get my mouse back. All right, so this is the satellite picture right now, and this is showing you where the higher cloud tops are. It also shows you that we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9:30 right here in this cluster from Botetourt County going into Lexington and Rockbridge County. This is for possibly 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. We've had a lot of damage out here today, and there's more to come. Storm reports are really filing in here, and it does look like we're going to continue to see these storms into the overnight hours as well. We've also got a flash flood warning in effect for the city of Lynchburg here until 10:30 tonight. You can see that storm that moved through. They've had 2 of them now moving into Pamplin and Brookneal. And for you folks in other parts of the area, the Highlands have been hit harder along the I-64 corridor, but this line's going to continue to sink down to the south as we go through the night. You see this area here outlined? I've got more of that on my Patreon page, but this is basically where the Weather Prediction Center says, we agree. We're watching this too, and we don't like what we see. This is the same pattern that brought us the flash flooding in 2016 in West Virginia, that devastating flooding over the Greenbrier Valley. I'm not saying that's going to be the case this time, but listen, Lynchburg's already had 5 inches of rain. You've got rainfall rates just off to your west currently, right now as you're watching this, folks, at 4.6 inches in an hour. And that is some extreme rain. That's like somebody taking a bucket and just pouring it out on your head. Close to 5 inches an hour up toward Allegheny County there, the little area there just north of Botetourt County, just east of Clifton Forge, near 64. Right in Lexington, we've got over 3.2 inches an hour. So these are actual rates of rainfall. And overall, most of the area is either just below normal or right around normal rainfall-wise. If you go to the past 7 to 14 days, we're at about 1 inch below normal in 14 days across the Roanoke Valley and surrounding areas. But if you get one of these storms that moves in, it's not going to matter, because if it rains at 4 to 5 inches in an hour, that water just does not have time to get into the ground. And you can deal with some devastating flash flooding in a setup like this, because what happens is the clusters of storms will combine. They'll join forces, and you'll end up with some areas getting just pummeled with cluster after cluster. In other words, these clusters are kind of connecting. And so it's like a never-ending parade of storms. You can see, look at all of these damage reports. Right through here, just a ton of damage from Rustburg into Gladys here into Appomattox County. They had 1 and then 2 storms move in over the same areas. That's how they've got over 5 inches of rain there. And look, here's a third one coming out of Buchanan here. Let me go over here so you can kind of see it. Right through here, the storm coming out of Botetourt County is severe at the moment. Look at all of that lightning. That's going to hit Bedford. It's going to hit Big Island and Good. So there will be a warning out for this one. And one of the reasons I like you watching me is I usually try to give you an early heads up before the official warning comes out. So if you live in Bedford, back into Amherst County, into Lynchburg, unfortunately, the worst is not yet happened. Although this storm may weaken. It doesn't look like it is. Once this comes in, you're really going to have some problems in terms of flash flooding. So I want to give you the early heads up that you need to be thinking about, where do I need to go if the water rises close to me? If you're in a flood-prone area, you need to be watching out for the fact that we could be seeing something exceptional taking place. That's not good. It's got me very concerned too, not only for the flash flooding, but also the fact that we've got wind that's coming in at the surface from the south to southwest through Franklin County and Bedford and Lynchburg. It's coming in like that. You've got this line of storms here that's got its own outflow with it. So your winds are coming in out of the north and west. And then aloft, way up in the clouds, you've got a jet stream coming out of the due west to east almost. And so that creates wind shear. And when the updraft encounters that, it will start to spin. So there's also the chance of rotation and or tornadoes tonight. That's something I'm also watching very carefully. I think my main concern are the damaging straight line winds. So let's look at that right now. You can see a little bit of a hint. Let's see, this is back from Floyd County, so we're looking for anything that's rotating. There's hints of broad rotation. Nothing right now other than just, let's see, that's away. That's convergence right there in Buchanan. That's the updraft of the storm that this is picking up. But if we look at the Vil, this is a way to see if we have any hail, and we do have some elevated values of Vil. Vertically integrated liquid through southern Rockbridge County. They've already had up to pea-sized hail to, let's see, that's 0.88 inches. So I think that's about nickel size. But if you look up across Covington here in Allegheny County, we use these storm reports to tell you what the storms are capable of. Numerous trees down in Covington, numerous trees down in Allegheny County near Callahan. And let's look at Lexington here. We already looked at the hail. I'm going back to Lynchburg real quick. 1 inch hail reported by a spotter in eastern Bedford County. Also, a 1/4 inch hail reported as well about the same time. We've got a tree on a house on Hawkins Mill Road in Bedford County. We've got a tree on a house here. And we've got more storms coming your way. So it's not a good situation. We've got individual reports that there was significant flooding on Graves Mill Road in Forest. Cars were becoming stuck in the water, and also on Ford Avenue we're getting some reports of flooding. Around Forest, we've got a tree across a road here. Tree down across both lanes of US 460 between Oddfellows Road and Candler's Mountain Road. Apparently a car had trouble there as well. So hopefully they're getting that cleared up very quickly. We'll pull up the VDOT app here in just a second. This is where Channel 13 is, 5.02 inches of rain. And again, another heavy bout of rain coming in. We've got in Campbell County, 911 there is reporting that Morris County store in Concord is flooded. 3 to 4 feet of water is flowing through the store and the adjacent portion of Richmond Highway. That's US 460. Cars in the area were stranded and unable to turn around. VDOT's closed the road. So this gives you an idea of just how significant this flooding is, and it's also giving you an idea of what these storms are capable of. Notice the trend here as I zoom back out and put this in motion. There is further development way up here in West Virginia, and it's these storms that really are going to pose a huge problem, because the additional storms is what does it to you this time of the year. So once you get hit hard, like Lynchburg's been hit hard, the Highlands have been hit hard, Rockbridge County's getting hit right now. We have a bow echo currently producing damage coming out of Botetourt County. You need to seek shelter in that area. But once you get hit hard and you have these other storms that are upstream coming in, that's where you get in trouble in terms of flash flooding. And that's when you go from just ordinary flooding to extreme flooding, which is what we're seeing right now. In Campbell County, we're seeing 3 to 4 feet of water. That's insane. That's a lot of runoff. So I'm going to go back here to my switcher. This is a wider look showing those areas of storms. And again, they're kind of trying to join forces here. You see that one complex over Lynchburg moving south, that second storm just now, and then a third complex. That's the recipe for dangerous flash flooding. If you at all are in the Lynchburg, Bedford, Campbell County area to Amherst, also I'd say Nelson County and Craig County, Rockbridge County, Bath County, Craig County, Botetourt, Bedford County. I think I've got all the places listed. But if you're in those areas, you definitely, if you live in a flood-prone area, you need to start getting out because this is going to be some bad flooding. I'm just going to tell you. You can go on my Patreon page, by the way, and you can check out my latest forecast there in terms of detail, give you a little more of an idea of why I'm so concerned. This is a new feature. This is the 3D lightning in radar and satellite picture. I've got an upgrade to one of my computers here, and as the sun sets, we lose the satellite, but you can still see the radar and all that lightning coming across the area. That's a 3D look at it. And so right now the worst of it is still to the north of Southside, but I do think with time tonight we're going to see that drift back down to the south. We'll look at the model here, the model animators. And we'll put this back up. Yeah, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. All right, this is the FE3 model. So this takes us through right now, and then with time tonight, by about, well, within the next hour or two, by 11 o'clock to midnight, we'll start to see these storms sinking well down to the south with time. Now, again, right now they're training over the same areas, and that is not a good thing. And you can see here, even Lynchburg is included in the rainfall that continues tonight. So this may really start to add up. I mean, we're talking, if it came to fruition, if this model's right, you're looking at 10 to 15 inches of rain in Lynchburg total. That's possible. Any one of these storms could also have some spin in it, as I mentioned. But Wytheville, places like Floyd and through Roanoke, and going into Franklin County, down through Martinsville and Danville with time tonight, you may also get in on this flash flooding. Rainfall rates are going to continue very extreme. And it'll continue raining through about midnight or so. And then even after midnight down into the Carolinas, it's still raining. We look at the latest NAM here, and I'll show you again what I'm really concerned about here. This is the latest model run. So you can see it picked up this area very well. That was earlier today. Now we're going into right now, and you can see those additional storms back here that are back building out across Kentucky and West Virginia. They're going to continue streaming in. And notice the line, it's oriented from basically right up underneath the upper level winds in a parallel fashion. So, you know, if we draw the line here of the actual outflow with this, it goes right across southern West Virginia, Beckley, around Lewisburg, Blacksburg, right there. That's our line of storms. Now the winds are blowing like this, basically right out of the east. So I'm very concerned about this area back to the west. If that starts to line up right up underneath the upper level winds, that's what we call a fire hose effect. And that's when you can get, 5 to 10 inches of rain in a real quick hurry, an additional 5 to 10 inches of rain. And some of the area already has 5 inches of rain. So I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm just trying to, I noticed the same thing in 2016, and I raised my alarm bell to that, and we were able to get some folks ahead of this flooding. But I do think we all need to watch very carefully, especially areas along and north of 460 for some really bad flash flooding tonight. And as we go into the overnight hours, it's even more dangerous because can't see the road, and a lot of deaths unfortunately occur because of that. Now right now the strongest part of this bow echo is over Natural Bridge Station, and it's just about to cross into Botetourt County there. It's just to the northwest of Peaksville and Keto Mill in Bedford County, right over Buchanan. Some very heavy rain on I-81, and we're looking at the same thing through Red Mills and Fancy Hill, going right up the 81 corridor. What a horrible night to be trying to drive the interstate. I imagine there's lots of road closures in the area, and we did say we were going to look at that, didn't we? So let's go to our VDOT page here, and we'll also pull up some power outages because I want to see if that is a big deal tonight. and it probably is for some folks. EP. All right. So we'll go here and I'll show you how to look up the roads that are closed in case you don't know. So you go to Virginia511.com, and I usually take off some of this extra stuff. So I'm going to take off the road work. I'm going to take off the message signs. I don't need bridges, but I am leaving special events, weather closures, other weather events, cameras up. So now if I zoom in, you can see where the traffic is slowing because of all this rain. And we can pull up a camera here, and you can see it just coming down in buckets there. A lot of lightning there too. So this is at I-81 on my marker 166. And there's a larger view of that. Let me get this scaled down a touch for you. It's kind of hard to see, but it is a very serious setup. It's one of the more impressive setups I've seen, and you can also see the lightning that's occurring there, and the fact that it's just having a hard time transmitting all that rain that's just pouring down across this area. So that's a concern. I've got a new statement out just coming in. Stand by. Got another rainfall report of 3.6 inches 3 miles northwest of Lynchburg. About another report coming in from Campbell County. 3-inch limbs and power poles broken 4 miles northeast of Rustburg. So, I mean, they got just pummeled with this system and are continuing to see it. Now, if we go in here to some of these other cameras, like I'm going to check out Lynchburg and see what's going on there. That's near Liberty Mountain. It looks like things have quieted down for now. But as these second storms start to come in, you're going to deal with more of this. You can also see, I think you can see where that flooding's occurring on 460 there in Campbell County. If I pull a camera up, we may be able to see some of that. Look at the traffic that's starting to back up in this area. This is due to either trees down on 460 and or flash flooding. There you see the police lights just to the north here. So apparently they are either diverting traffic or slowing you down around some of this flooding that's occurring across the area. And again, here it is. Try to put my... Yeah, I've got my sponsor up there. So if you have any tree damage, give them a call. And more than likely there's a lot of it, depending on where you are tonight. Very, very active night. If you're just tuning in, you need to be on the lookout for flash flooding and a lot of it going into the night tonight. Here's your 3D look one more time. And again, that shows you Roanoke and Lynchburg and the clusters of severe storms that continue moving south and east through the area. And once again, they are lining up in a fashion that's going to produce a lot of problems for a lot of people. This is dropping up to 4 inches or more in an hour. If I probe this, I can prove it to you here. I've got technology that measures this, and you can see that we're at 4.8 inches of rain, 4.7 there in an hour. That's in 30 minutes, that's just 2.35 inches. That's like an inch and something every 1.17 every 15 minutes. That's insane. We've got 4.2 inches in an hour. And going into Glasgow and Rockbridge County, also Botetourt County, you're still around 4 inches in just an hour. And even this, 2 inches in an hour, is nothing to take lightly. That's a lot of rain as well. But this 4 inch an hour stuff is going to be trouble because Lynchburg has already seen flash flooding, and they've got numerous roads closed from over 5 inches of rain. That was measured by my colleagues over at Channel 13 that I used to work with there, and they've got an actual rain gauge. I've worked there, so I can tell you they've got an actual digital rain gauge that measures that. And so that's a very accurate report. Yeah, George and Will do a good job over there, and they would not tell you wrong. So let's go. Right now, the worst part of this system is still bowing out toward Lynchburg once again. You can see this backward C-shaped here. It's kind of going east further than the rest of the line. This is strong winds that are occurring as I'm talking, as you're watching this. We've got probably some damage occurring right now in this area. So I'll kind of draw it up here on my Macintosh here. We'll see. All right, so the line itself is bowing out right here, and you see this is a visualization kind of showing you what the wind would be doing there. So it's really blowing hard, and it bows this line out, and you have to watch on the south side of this line and on the northern side for spin, especially on the northern side. We've got a boundary over the area. We've got a lot of moisture and thunderstorm fuel to work with, and we're not totally dismissing the fact that there may be a tornado tonight. Very active weather situation. So Amherst County now has a severe thunderstorm warning, and we're looking at more strong to severe storms. And again, I do not like this at all. This is far southwest Virginia going into West Virginia and Kentucky. These storms are training over the same areas. So actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 storms in a line. And that is no good. So I do think with time it's going to hit the rest of the area. So most areas are going to need to watch this. Most areas may not get hit, but somebody in here is going to have some really bad flooding by the time we get to midnight tonight. So if you're driving tonight, keep that in mind. Any low spots, I want to watch out for. We've got some new thunderstorm development over Cave Spring. You can see just in the past 2 minutes, we've got thunderstorms popping up there near Windy Gap Mountain in Franklin County, and also just in southwest Roanoke County, just past the mountain there, just past Poor Mountain, going into Cave Spring and Mudlick area. We've got some very heavy rain in just a little spot. That's likely just going to continue because the storms are just feeding off of this air, and they're just going to continue to use this heat as we go through the night. And you can see why. This is the actual outflow boundary. Notice how these little particles here from the radar start to drift south. So it's a very serious situation, folks. I need you to take that into account and go to my Patreon if you have any other questions. You can also follow me on Twitter. And just to show you, I think I have this set up right. You can look at my Twitter right now, actually, if it's going to load, and it'll continue to post automatically the very latest weather information. So that's a special weather statement now for Amherst County that just came out 3 minutes ago, and I've got that coming in from about 4 sources. So this will continue to refresh, and you can continue to pull that up for free. Just go to twitter.com/Jamey Singleton or just @Jamey Singleton, and you can add it there. All right. That's your update for right now. I'm going to be watching this into the night, and I'm afraid I'm probably going to be back on the air at some point tonight to update you on these just horrible storms that are occurring and dropping over 5 inches of rain already, and more to come. Another 3 to 5 inches possible for Lynchburg. You're looking at maybe some 10-inch totals by the morning.